display, it's really quite amazing and hands down probably the best display in a smartphone besides the Note 9. Hey guys, it's Daniel from DLT Reviews, and is the Samsung Galaxy S9 still worth it? The Samsung Galaxy S9 is Samsung's 9th iteration in their S series, and looking back, they have definitely come a long way since then. With the S6, Samsung stepped up their design game, and with the S8, they reimagined the smartphone design. The S9 is, in other words, the S8s. There are some noticeable upgrades, but to be honest, it's not a phone which will go down as my all-time favorites. I've been using the Galaxy S9 for about half a year now, so should you pick one up? Let's get one thing out of the way first. There are thousands of videos on YouTube where you can find just a list of specs, so in this video, I won't bother you with any of that. I'm here to give you my experiences and to tell you how the phone performs on a day-to-day basis. So with that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. Starting out with probably one of the most important things you could hope for in a smartphone, let's talk about performance. This phone does what you expect it to. With the soon-to-be outdated Snapdragon 845 processor, the phone performs just alright. It's quite speedy at times, opening apps and going throughout the phone is usually a breeze. Of course, there's still that infamous Samsung lag, and it's definitely noticeable. Sometimes animations will lag, or I've even had the phone just reboot itself when I try to open or exit an app. Something that really hasn't happened to me with any other phone I've ever owned before. Now, I haven't heard of this from other reviewers, so it might just be some defect with my device. One place where this phone is definitely not fast though is at opening up the camera. Opening up the camera app from the home screen will take a while to load, and a double pressing the power button will prompt the same slow loading of the camera as well. This problem is also found in the Snapchat and Instagram apps. We'll dive into the camera later, but for now, just be warned that this is not the fastest camera out there. Now let's talk about Bixby. I know most in the tech community hates its existence, and most people usually just shut it off and never tries it. Honestly, I do this as well, but I do know that there are some unique functions that Bixby can do that Google Assistant can't. But I'm fine with just using Google Assistant, and I feel like having two voice assistants on my phone is a bit too much. Speaking of the Google Assistant, its activation is actually quite slow on this phone, whether I'm holding down on the home button or saying "OK Google." I basically don't use Google Assistant that much anymore due to how slow it is on this phone. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the design. The design is a pretty quick story, as it is very similar to the S8 with the exception of some new colors and the new fingerprint sensor below the camera, which allows you to unlock the phone more naturally. The glass and aluminum construction is gorgeous and allows for fast wireless charging, which is very useful by the way, although it is slightly slower than cable charging and heats up the phone a bit. Anyways, the glass is still glass, so the phone is very fragile and gets very grimy too. Due to the small bezels, the phone is pretty hard to hold when you're trying to use it in bed, and overall this is a beautiful piece of hardware which will probably get covered up by a case anyway. One of the biggest improvements on this phone though is the camera. The camera on the S7 to Note 8 have disappointed me a lot in comparison to Google shooters, but the S9's camera has impressed me quite a bit. The front-facing shooter offers great detailed photos, which really surprised me. Pretty crisp in great lighting situations and alright in other situations. It's also capable of recording 1440p video, but prepare for the phone to heat up while doing it. The rear camera is also a great shooter and performs great in daylight and even does well in low light. This is due to Samsung's variable aperture lens, which switches between an f2.4 and f1.5 aperture, allowing in more light into the sensor when it's low light and crisper photos throughout the day. It really is an awesome feat of engineering. Of course, the phone has 4K video, but again, the phone is going to heat up and the video is not the best in the world unless there's plenty of light. Image stabilization is alright, but not the best, and overall this camera offers the same punchy, vibrant colors of all past Samsung phones. One other thing though is the camera's ability to shoot super slow-mo at a whopping 960 frames per second, which is just amazing. Now it does record in 720p, so it's not the best picture quality, but it is amazing all the slow-mo videos I can capture on this thing. And now onto the display. Samsung has been making really beautiful displays recently, and it's no exception here on the S9. It's super crisp with amazing colors and deep blacks due to that OLED, and there's not much to say besides that it's a really good display, which is held back by the fact that I have to use power saving mode and turn the display down to 720 or 1080p to conserve battery, which by the way is not that good. Having a 3000 mAh battery in a phone today will definitely not get you much, and I could barely get through a full day with it. Although the power saving mode is extremely helpful, and the super power saving mode actually helped my phone last for 2 hours on just 0%, which is just crazy. The display has a feature where it boosts the brightness up higher than it can normally, and the display is indeed very visible in direct sunlight. The display is definitely a gorgeous panel, especially with how the front bezels look. I don't really mind notches. In fact, I really like how the notch looks on the iPhone, but there's just something about the look of the S9's no-notch display. It's really quite amazing, and hands down probably one of the best displays on a smartphone besides the Note 9. Then there are some of the extra stuff that this phone offers, which I should talk about as well. Some of the features on this phone are so good that it makes it hard for me to switch to another phone. Number one is Samsung Pay. It uses a different technology compared to Apple and Android Pay, which both use NFC. For those types of payments, stores need to buy new card readers, whereas Samsung Pay allows payments on virtually every card terminal since it replicates the magnetic strip. It has worked at 99% of the places I've been to, with the exception of a Wendy's in Las Vegas for some reason. And yeah, it's very awkward when it doesn't work. Another feature I use all the time is scroll capture, which captures more of a page in a screenshot. Every phone should have this feature, as it is such a useful feature. It's no joke when I say that I actually use this feature all the time. Finally, this phone gives you a lot of options to unlock the phone, and it's amazing. Iris scanning, fingerprint sensor, and face unlock. It's really nice to have all these choices to unlock your phone. The fingerprint sensor is really fast as you'd expect it to be, and it's very accurate as well. The iris scanner is very secure and unlocks your phone really quickly, and sometimes even faster than Face ID, since iOS makes you swipe up to unlock the phone. So coming into the end of my review, it's time to answer the question: should you buy this phone? Well, with the Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus being around $500 to $600 new on eBay, I'd say this phone is definitely worth it. It's definitely a bargain compared to the other $1,000 smartphones on the market, including Samsung's own Note 9. If you're looking to upgrade from an S7 or lower, this will be a very nice upgrade. But if you can wait and have a bit more cash to spend, the Galaxy S10 is confirmed to be a huge upgrade from Samsung themselves, and it's rumored to have an under-the-display fingerprint sensor, no-notch bezel-less display, and an all-new design. So if you don't need all that, then I'd say the S9 is a solid phone to get if you're looking for a new phone right now. Don't forget to drop a comment down below if you already have one of these, and if you're going to pick one up, which color are you going to get? Also, hit that big red subscribe button and the bell icon next to it to make sure you get notified of when a new video comes out. While you're at it, why don't you hit that like button as well, and thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in my very next video. Peace.